Oh man, I could not wait to reveal this next one. Thinking back on how many hours I spent playing this game is truly unsettling. But I loved every minute. Get ready, because not many people are privy to the ridiculousness known as Released on the Nintendo 64 in 1998, Battletanx is an action and vehicular combat video game by 3DO featuring nothing but battle tanks. You play as Griffin Spade, a tough guy from Queens, New York. Griffin is ready to be a married man and settle down with his fiancée, Madison. However, Madison abruptly goes mysteriously missing. Then, a global nuclear war engulfs the whole world, killing millions. To make matters worse, an unknown virus plagues the human race, killing all women except a handful. The surviving women are then worshipped as deities by the surviving men and are later referred to as Queen Lords. I told you this was going to be ridiculous. In his rage and despair, Griffin vows to find Madison regardless of the perils that await. He jumps into his M1A1 Abrams battle tank and begins his mechanized trek across the blazing wastelands of Earth, forging a private battle tank army to search for Madison. Because the first thing I would do during a nuclear apocalypse is grab an M1A1 Abrams battle tank and find my girlfriend instead of finding a subterranean fallout shelter. Every time I think about battle tanks, I cannot help but laugh. Gosh, this game puts most video games about tanks to shame, in all honesty. Want to know where I became a huge tank buff? Well, look no further than Battletanx. The first time I played this game, I was 5 years old. Battletanx was initially supposed to be a game for adolescent boys and men. Yet there I was, at the age of 5, playing a video game based on a post-nuclear war incident with guys forming battle tank gangs and propping women up as deities. Clearly, I should not have been playing this game. Yet, I could not help myself. The game truly is fun. I mean, look at this video game and tell me how you cannot see the fun in it. I have many fond memories playing this game with my dad, older brother, and older sister. Especially with my brother. The story may be a bit dumb, but the aspects hidden behind the video game's plot make up a quality experience unlike anything today, at least that I can find. Battletanx offers a wide array of mechanics that cannot be overlooked. The first thing to note is the destruction. The Nintendo 64 had video games that displayed destructive-like elements, but nothing as distinct as Battletanx. Buildings, walls, turrets, gas cans, and even the tanks themselves blow up. The mechanics of destruction were an absolute marvel at the time. The mechanics for item pickups and their uses were another aspect that made Battletanx enjoyable. From deployable mines, health kits, projectile rockets, a rocket-guided missile, And last but not least, possibly the greatest, a nuke! Each item mechanic serves a function that helps broaden your range of choices. The enemy tanks have mechanics that allow turret rotation and movement while traversing the level, whereas the player can only move their tank while their turret faces forwards at all times. The enemy mechanics offer a bit of a difficulty spike within the game and can challenge the player to be tactful before engaging in combat altogether. The last mechanic to note about Battletanx is the operational standards for all Battletanx. The smaller bike-like tanks are fast and nimble, but are comparatively weaker than the other two. They can be killed easily in one shot. The medium-sized tank is your average Joe of the group. These are your standard tanks that are your kind of jack-of-all-trades. However, the best tank in the game is the Goliath tank. The slowest of the three tanks overall, but strong and beefy. The mechanics for each tank are individually unique and provide a sense of purpose within the game. Mechanics within video games should be a noticeable aspect that dictates a fun experience. A video game could exhibit a bad story, but the mechanics can save a video game overall. Now that the mechanics are out of the way, let's talk about that gameplay. The level designs of each map offer challenges that are sure to put your tank driving skills to the test. You battle in city streets, assaulting a bridge, rescuing damsels in distress, clearing highways and tunnels. The list continues to pile as you make your way towards finding Madison. One of the best gameplay elements of Battletanx is the amount of obstacles that impede your progress. The thought process and design work of the game is truly awe-inspiring. The whole game is somewhat like a giant puzzle that you have to try and solve. Being able to destroy just about anything gives clear incentive that there might be hidden areas or items lurking within the vicinity that can help your cause. The exploration of each map is paramount to your success in the game. Also, blowing things up in general is just plain fun. The additional arsenal of weapons and gadget pickups within the game are another crucial element of success, especially the player-controlled rocket missile. If I had to name one fun gameplay element within Battletanx that is also kind of a cheap tactic, it would go towards the rocket-guided missile. You can launch the rocket-guided missile from a distance and control the horizontal movement to hit a target from afar. However, while the missile seems omnipotent, you need some skill to direct the rocket perfectly. Nothing beats the best item in the game, the nuke. The moment you see that radiation symbol rotating in a floating box, you know you're in for a good time. Deploying the nuke is unlike anything in modern video games today. The moment the black cube leaves your tank, the words "nuke deployed" play through the audio.
Nuke deployed.
Then, two loud and long sirens ring out following after the words. The tension builds right up to the most game-changing effect ever. Like a streak of lightning and thunder combined, a loud and overmodulated, piercing explosion noise erupts. In tandem to the audio, the sky turns immediately to a yellow hue. From the bomb's placement and location, a yellow wave ripples outwards across the entire map, destroying everything in its path.
Nuke deployed.
The nuke is seriously no joke. Even if you are the one who deploys the nuke, you are also in danger of the damaging effects, which is why the nuke is just great. Another element of gameplay that is genuinely unique is the Goliath tank minigame. The Goliath tank is the only battle tank in the game that can attach itself to a train rail, becoming a colossal menace. Not only is the horizontal speed of the Goliath tank increased, but the firing speed is as well. The minigame becomes a sort of survival game when hordes of tanks roll in from just about anywhere to destroy you. Additionally, Goliath tanks have a special property of being base defenders. Queen Lords are usually defended by railed Goliath tanks, making the task of rescuing one a difficult activity. Battletanx seriously revolutionized vehicular combat with just tanks alone. Never have I seen such creative and elaborate gameplay in modern video games. The significant amount of gameplay elements that you can do within Battletanx alone is just as ridiculous as the story itself. To this day, anytime I play a video game with some sort of tank in the game, the first thing I recall is the Battletanx soundtrack. I will have you know, Battletanx music is somewhat special to me. Each and every soundtrack has some type of flair of being heavy metal with some 1980s montage mixed in. I cannot say that I was not immediately captivated by the soundtrack themes of this game. On another note, the music for Battletanx matches every single level within the game, as if the whole intention behind the map was designed based on the soundtracks alone. One of my favorite themes is the Area 51 theme. The epic and heroic theme is pretty much a signature soundtrack for the Battletanx video game. The hardcore and heavy metal theme for the Stranglehold Bridge is a classic soundtrack. Times Square's soundtrack is like a fistfight theme to show off your muscles in a tank. Enjoy listening to is The Heartland, a more peppy and cheerful soundtrack to the roster of songs that adds a bit of a story-like aria. Coming up with a soundtrack playlist for Battletanx must have been an absolute blast. What kind of music would a Battletank game have, I wonder? Would have been my thoughts. There are many perspectives to take on the matter of the sheet music. However, I am happy of what the Battletanx music turned out to be. Battletanx is by no means a great game, but I do not care. This is the vehicular video game of my time. Battletanx is also the reason I became fascinated by tanks and militaristic things in general. It kind of started that whole trend for me. The video game alone sparked a future that built me for who I am. I looked at Battletanx's story as being ridiculous and humorous when I was little. Never did I see the game's influential bearings or look too deeply into the gender discrimination concepts. I only cared about the Battletanx and the cool aspects of being a part of Griffin's army. The 8th spot for my list of top video games of all time goes to Battletanx. I am proud to have the video game on the list. Though the story is honestly cheesy and far-fetched, I suppose if I ever had a fiancé, I too would grab an M1A1 Abrams Battletank and begin a mechanized trek to go and find her if she ever went missing.